There's one person here. Oh, no. Sorry to everyone that my Wi-Fi is so bad. Hello, Grisha. Hello. How do you pronounce? Is it? Where is the emphasis? Kirill? Kirill? I don't know. My friends, when I was younger, I wanted my friends to call me Bree because there was a singer named Bree Sharp that I loved. So I wanted them to call me Bree, but no. Some people call me B, just the letter B. Is this better quality? Kirill. Okay, cool. I'm sorry that now this is the third attempt at my live stream. О чём stream? I am talking about whatever you guys want and about the fact that I am home because of the coronavirus. And I think that that is why my Wi-Fi is so bad, because so many people are home right now using Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of stuff happening right now. Sing something. No. But I was thinking about making a video where I sing. I don't know. Can you pronounce our names? Vladislav. Sergey. Something boiling? Спасибо. Is New York closed now? A lot of things are closed in New York. Movie theaters, restaurants, you cannot go and sit in restaurants. Bars, you cannot go and sit in bars. Gyms, theaters. Broadway is closed. New York City public schools are closed. How is the situation in New York supermarkets? So when I went food shopping, there was no problem. It was fine. But I've seen a lot of people say that everything is sold out. And you've probably seen the memes on Instagram showing that people are fighting over toilet paper because people are fighting for necessities. When you're told you're going to be on lockdown, you have to stay home, it starts to feel like you need to be competitive to make sure you have what you need. Obviously, it doesn't really make that much sense to buy so much toilet paper, but some people seem to think that they need a lot. Where are you now? I am home in New York City. Hello from Kazakhstan. Hello. Какая у вас погода? Today is sunny, I think. Is it sunny outside? Coronavirus is currently at bars, going to bars with people. What do you think about the American healthcare system? I mean, I think everyone thinks that stuff needs to change, but I won't go into my personal political beliefs. But yeah, it's expensive. What time is it now? It's almost 2 p.m. in New York. What cities in the world do I like the most? I really like Edinburgh in Scotland. It's just so beautiful. If you look at pictures, if you go to Google and you type in Edinburgh, Scotland, it's just so beautiful. So I really like it. Hello from Omsk. Hello. Do you know about the blogger Vanya Pak? Yes, I have met Vanya. He's very nice. I have a video with him. Who's your favorite tennis player? I do not have one, but my mom really likes Nadal. Do you understand Scottish accent? Yes, usually. It depends on how heavy the accent is. I've been to Glasgow in Scotland, and the accent I heard there was like, I couldn't understand it. It was crazy. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Ooh, this is a good question. Is there any place in New York that everyone goes to, but I've never been? Yes, I, strangely enough, have never been to the Statue of Liberty. It's true. I've lived my entire life in New York State, and for the past 6 years, I've been living in New York City, and I still have never been to the Statue of Liberty. I've seen it a million times. I've driven past it. I've been to Battery Park and looked at it. I've seen it, but I've never actually gone there. So that is a place I do need to go. You know about singer Johnny Cash? I like his song Hurt. I love that song. It's very emotional and sad. Is there panic in New York? There are a lot of precautions being made right now. So a lot of stuff is being closed. Everyone is being told work from home if you can. Schools are closing. Everything is closing. So precautions are being made. I don't think people are freaking out right now. They're not panicking right now, but everyone is very aware of the situation. And most people are trying to stay home as much as possible. How old was your dad when you came to the USA? You mean when he came to the USA, he was like 15 or 16? Have you been to all states in the US? No, not even close. The coronavirus threat is clearly exaggerated. Why do people react like this? So I think What everyone's trying to do now is flatten the curve. So essentially, if this line right here is the capacity that our hospitals can handle cases, what we need to do is make sure, it's hard to explain. Everyone is trying to make sure that we don't overflow or overwhelm the hospitals, because there are only a certain number of hospital beds. There are only a certain number of doctors. So if suddenly everyone gets sick, it's going to completely overtake the hospitals and people won't be able to get the help that they need. So everyone's being told, stay home, let's stop the spread of this virus so the people who are sick can get help, and we don't make it so like so many people are sick. We don't, like, it's the hospital capacity that we're worried about, if that makes sense. Elaborate. Dimitri asks, how do you understand that someone is from the West Coast or East Coast? I'm sure it's the same as, like, how do you know if someone is from Moscow versus St. Petersburg? New York has a distinct accent. California has a distinct accent. New York has a very specific accent. Okay, California's accent is like, it's not, it doesn't have too many specific characteristics, but there's certain things like you can tell that they're not from New York. Yeah? Can I give an example? New York. Give me a sentence. Hey, how you doing? This is bad. I do not have a New York City accent, but I do have a New York State accent. I'm from New York. No, that was bad. I'm from New York. New York. Get a pizza pie. Oh my God. Forget this ever happened, please. Chris, привет. What is happening in Times Square right now? There are always a lot of people. Do you know what's happening? I don't know what's happening in Times Square, actually. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Why do New Yorkers mock New Jersey people? That's another good question. I think it's sort of like a friendly rivalry. It's like a friendly competition sort of thing, right? Apparently, Times Square does still have people walking around, but not as many as usual. I'm learning Russian and live in New York. I would love some of your content geared towards new learners, like English subs. It's so hard to do subtitles, but I can turn on like community subtitles. Maybe that'll help. Not sure that AIDS is a comparison. I'm pretty sure, like, now if someone gets AIDS, they live normal lives and they take medicine that helps curb all the issues. Do you have a food delivery service? Well, I don't understand what you mean by that, but everyone in New York City uses something called Seamless, which is a website, seamless.com, and also it's an app, приложение app. And you can scroll and browse and find restaurants and place orders on the app, and they deliver food to you. And that is still working. You don't hear the difference between Moscow and St. Petersburg accent? I've talked to people who have told me about it. Like the vowels are different. Like they'll, in Moscow, the vowels are like yas, nai. I don't know. I've never watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but I know what it is. Good night. I have not been to Vancouver. Have you watched the movie Parasite? What did you think of this movie? I loved that movie. I watched it 3 times. It is just so good. I'm so glad that they won Best Picture at the Oscars because I think they deserve it. It's an excellent movie. Belarus. Hi, Belarus. Have you ever been to Yaroslavl? I think so. Is that on the Golden Ring? Привет из Калининграда. Привет из Нью-Йорка. From Korea. Parasite was amazing. Have you ever been to Ukraine? No, I have not, but I would love to visit. But I'm not going to be traveling anytime soon. Have you been to Cuba? That's a great question, and the answer is no, not yet, which is crazy because half of my family is from Cuba. My mother was born in Cuba. So I want to go back with my family and they can, show me all of the places that they used to live. We will get the digital version of your movie. Are you talking about my movie, the short film that I made? Why you didn't do stream like that in normal time? I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase that question? What time is it in New York? It is 2 p.m. Thank you, Owl Jazz. The short film, I'm not showing it yet, but I will make an announcement when it's available to watch. It's very short. It's under 7 minutes long. Have you bought goods and toilet paper because of this crisis? Should we do it too? I didn't go crazy buying stuff. I just bought enough food to last for the week, maybe 2 weeks, because they're advising us to stay inside, to stay home if we can. So I have enough food, but I didn't go crazy. Have you been to Belarus? No, not yet. What color of your eyes? Very brown. Have you been to the stairs where the scene from Joker was shot? I haven't even seen Joker. I know, it's crazy. Everyone I know has seen that movie, but I have not yet seen it. But I'm going to watch it. Maybe since I'm home now for the foreseeable future, I will watch the movie. But I have not been to the stairs that this famous scene was shot that I haven't even seen. How to rent an apartment in New York City without busting a bank. By busting, do you mean like robbing? Yeah, apartments in New York City are very expensive. So it just depends on your income. And a lot of people have to live with roommates because they can only afford to live with roommates. Stream будут теперь чаще. Do you guys like this live stream format? Because I like it. I'm having fun. And if you like this live stream format, I can do this more often. So let me know. Move from Russia to the US. What Olympics? I know English better than my classmates and the whole school, but at the Olympics, I always took second place. I don't know what Olympics. Hi from Yekaterinburg. We met in 2008 at Interpals. I don't remember that. I haven't been on Interpals in so long. But that's funny. Hi. What is your favorite food you like to cook at home? I am not a good cook, but I make a good Greek salad. Does that count? I don't know. Do you watch TV shows like Breaking Bad, Prison Break, Lost, etc.? Those are 3 shows I have not watched. What shows do I watch? Yesterday, I just watched the finale of the show The Outsider, which is on HBO. It's based on a Stephen King novel. So I just watched that. I can't remember the other stuff that I've been watching recently. Do you know? I can't remember. Why are you talking in English? You know Russian well. I announced on my Instagram that I was going to be doing a slow English live stream. So it is good practice, good listening practice for everyone who is learning English. Because I know a lot of the times when you're learning a new language and you try to listen to native speakers, they're always talking really, really fast. But I am just trying to speak slowly and clearly so that you can train your ear. Sorry about the 3 notifications. What does it say on your mug? Thank you for asking. This mug is from Gibraltar, and these are monkeys riding a double-decker bus. Двухъярусный автобус. Yeah, я знаю это слово. I've made a video on my English channel about Gibraltar and how there were monkeys there that were crazy. So I bought this mug as a souvenir. Do you like ASMR videos? No. If you are at home, do you work there remotely? Yes. I can work anywhere that I'm able to edit. So I can work from home. I know I haven't seen Joker and Breaking Bad. Irina asks, what is your favorite Russian word? My favorite English word is memory. I don't know why. That's a good word. I like any Russian word that has х or zh in it. I often say that I really like the word археологических. Oh, English language competitions. So there are English language competitions that are called the Olympics. Is it like English Olympics or something? You have watched Twin Peaks. I remember. Yes, I watched season 1 of Twin Peaks, the original Twin Peaks. What's your favorite dinosaur? That's a great question. I mean, velociraptors are cool because Jurassic Park made them cool. I think in real life, maybe they weren't that cool. They were cool. I like all dinosaurs. They're all really cool. Thank you, Andre. Do you watch anime? I only watched Death Note, and that was excellent. But that's the only anime that I've watched. Sergey, yes. So I took like a bus tour to the Golden Ring cities or towns. That was a long time ago. That was like 8 years ago. Dari asks, can I go to America with poor English? It depends on where you go. But yeah, I mean, especially in New York, where we have lots of tourists and so many immigrants, everyone is fine if you have poor English or broken English. No one really cares. She answers only English questions. This is an English live stream that I'm doing. I announced on Instagram that I am doing a slow English live stream. Did you watch The Witcher? Oh, yeah. I didn't finish it yet, but I've been watching The Witcher. I think we watched like 3 episodes, maybe 4 episodes. The chain around my neck is my name. Bridget. Do you have any fears? Sergey asks. Birds. I don't like birds. I don't like insects. I don't like anything that moves fast. How many people in America speak only Spanish? I have no idea. But in American schools, Spanish is the most common second language that we learn. So when you're in like 6th grade, for example, you have the option of learning a second language, and most people choose Spanish. Then there's also French. Some people choose Italian, but Spanish is very common. Most people in America know some Spanish words at the very least. Have you encountered any celebs or celebrities on the streets of New York? Yes. Um, in New York City, you will often see celebrities. So, for example, last weekend I saw Jennifer Lawrence. We were at the same event. I saw Jennifer Lawrence. She's very pretty. I've seen Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. I've seen Donald Trump before he became president. I saw him on the street. Who else? David Hyde Pierce, Cynthia Nixon, Zach Braff. I've seen Zach Braff twice on the street. Who else? Who else have I seen? I've gone to events where I've seen, for example, David Duchovny, Jeff Goldblum, Tom Hanks. I went to a talk where Tom Hanks spoke, so I saw him. But that wasn't on the street. That was an event. This is a good question. How often do people call you Barbara instead of Bridget? All the time. But I'm used to it, so it's okay. How often do you speak in Russian with your family/father? Not very often at all. Sometimes I speak in Russian, or I try to speak in Russian with my babushka. Bridget, where are you now? I am in New York. Tom Hanks is sick right now. I know. Okay, Tom Hanks is my favorite actor of all time. He is the most wonderful man. He's so kind and I love him. So I hope he's okay. He's going to be fine. I know it. Tom Hanks is so cute. He is so cute. Do you like Eurovision? The last time I watched Eurovision was in, I think, 2010. I mentioned this earlier. The winner of that year was Lena with the song Satellite. So whichever year that was, I think it was 2010, was the only year that I watched it. I have not yet seen Lock and Key. Do you recommend it? Is it good? Do you believe in reincarnation, ghosts, aliens? I don't know. I do believe in ghosts because I've seen one. But everything else? Your favorite movie with Tom Hanks? Forrest Gump. Did you have the option to choose Russian in 6th grade? No. So Russian, the Russian language, is not very commonly offered in American schools. It's usually just Spanish, French, Italian. Some high schools maybe, or junior high schools will offer it, but it's very rare in my opinion. So Spanish, French, German, and Italian are the most common languages that American students learn. Russian is very rarely offered in high school. I started learning Russian at university because that was the first time I was able to take Russian as a language. I have not seen The Walking Dead. I saw Tom Hanks before he got the virus, yes. Come to Novosibirsk, I'll show you bears. Excellent. Do you read Dan Brown's books? I did a long time ago. I read Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons. So that was a long time ago. When will you make your own movies? We are waiting. I am waiting too. I'm working on stuff. It's tough to figure out funding to make movies. For example, I had this idea to make a short film based on a Russian fairy tale, but to have enough money to do that, it's sort of difficult. So I'm still thinking of what I want to do. If you guys know of any Russian fairy tales, please write the name in the comments. So for example, my friend told me about, I forget the name, Бессмертный, something Бессмертный. Кощей бессмертный. Да. So yeah, yes, thank you everyone who's saying it. Кощей бессмертный. So that's one Russian fairy tale. If you can think of any famous Russian fairy tales, please write the name in the comments. Other than Кощей бессмертный. Like, what are the most famous Russian fairy tales? Baba Yaga, я знаю. I don't know. Alexei asks, what is your favorite Russian name? I don't know that I have one. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Hello, Sergio from Belarus. Did you watch the show Charmed? Yes, I've seen a lot of Charmed. When I was younger, my best friend was obsessed with Charmed. Obsessed, одержима. She was obsessed with Charmed, so I watched a lot of it when I was friends with her. Чебурашка is a cool name. Thank you, Kolya. Have you tried Two Brothers $1 pizza? I'm sure I have. Yeah. It's not bad, right? It's decent. It's not bad. What's your favorite palabra en español? No sé. Do you speak Spanish? I'm half Cuban, so I've been around the Spanish language my whole life, so I understand Spanish very well, I would say. On Patreon, somehow quiet, maybe a couple of small lessons. If you're a patron, I've been trying to message directly with anyone who's my patron. If you and I aren't talking already, write to me. Or just post a comment or something, because I try to check Patreon often. Can you imagine living in another country? Yes, I think. I don't know. It would be an interesting experience to live in another country. So when I was younger, I was like, when I'm older, I'm going to live in Europe. Absolutely, I want to live in Europe. So maybe someday. Is your mother American? Well, she's American. She was born in Cuba, though. Is that correct? More TV shows than serial? Yes. So in English, we usually say TV shows, but I think fewer and fewer people watch TV nowadays. They watch now Netflix, HBO, etc. So we usually say series, not serial, serial по-русски. In English, we say series. Like, what Netflix series are you watching now? Or what show are you watching now? Or shows. Hello, Pablo. Please, can you show how you speak fluent English? Do you want me to talk faster? Is that what you mean? Let's see. Talk more quickly? Do you love Manhattan? I have a love-hate relationship with Manhattan. A love-hate relationship is a thing we say in English. It means sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. So if you say, I have a love/hate relationship with something, it means sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. So I have a love-hate relationship with Manhattan. There's so much history there. There's so many things to do there, so many museums, but also there's a lot of people, a lot of tourists. Sometimes it's dirty, but sometimes it's not. So I have a love-hate relationship with Manhattan. Is that right? I don't have a favorite NBA player. I do not watch sports at all. Do you like skoroговорки in English or Russian? I mean, I know ones in English better than I know them in Russian. Like, Betty Botter bought some butter. I don't think you want me to do the whole thing, but yeah. What is written on my hoodie? This is not a hoodie, this is a onesie. So it's the name of the brand, I think. Yeah, it's called One Piece of Norway. Have you seen Riverdale? I watched the first season, maybe the second season, but I haven't watched the new stuff. I haven't watched Riverdale recently. I don't watch cartoons. Do people live in skyscrapers in Manhattan? It depends on the skyscraper. Like, people don't live in the Empire State Building. People don't live in the Chrysler Building. Those are offices. So people work there, but they don't live there. Привет, Mikhail. I'm so bad at pronouncing Russian names. Can you run these streams more often? If you guys like this, then I would be happy to do these streams more often because I'm having fun. Can you play any musical instrument? It's not on. Can you play any musical instrument? I play the piano, but not very well. What is your favorite horror movie? So it's tough because I have a lot, but generally the type of horror that I really enjoy is called slow burn, which is like when the tension slowly builds and when the atmosphere is very dark. I do not like jump scares, which means sometimes in horror movies something happens really fast and it's a reflex. You have to jump because it's a reflex. I don't like that. I feel like it's like a cheap way to make your audience scared. I prefer when the filmmaker has done a good job of creating a scary environment. I love that type. So I really love The Witch because that whole movie is very tense and dark. I don't understand a and the. Well, I have news for you. I am going to be releasing something very soon that will help you with articles, a and an and the. So stay tuned because I'm very, very excited about it. I am currently in New York, Dimitri. It's hard to speed read all these comments. How do you spend your quarantine? I'm just working and trying to exercise and trying to be productive. So I've been cleaning, I've been organizing, I've been reading, just trying to keep busy. Hello from Kyrgyzstan. Hello, Marat. Your English pronunciation is so clear. Do you talk like that on a regular basis, or do you just want us to better understand it? So this is my normal accent, but I am trying to speak a little bit more slowly than usual. I personally am a very fast talker. I talk very quickly, usually. Like if I'm just talking with friends or something, I talk very fast. But right now, I want to make sure I'm speaking slowly and clearly for you guys because I know how difficult it is to try to understand a native speaker. Because if a native speaker is talking and speaking very quickly, it's difficult to understand and it's sort of disheartening. It's discouraging. It makes you feel like I clearly don't understand the language, but that's not true. So I just want you all to practice listening to English. Maybe a little demonstration. So maybe a little demonstration of your regular speed. What should I say? Like talk normally. I'm trying to think of what to say. This is me. This is how I really talk normally. I think I'm a really fast talker. That was an example. Roman, which rock bands are most popular in the US? And then in parentheses, old school. Which rock bands? I mean, there's a lot of like classic rock bands that everyone knows. Thoughts? When you say old school, do you mean like from the 70s? Which rock bands are still popular? Because a lot of those bands are still played on the radio. Did you have good marks at school? Yes. I did very well in school. My grades were always straight A's. I was on the dean's list at my university. I had a very high, like a 3.8 GPA. Did I answer your question about the bands? Like for if you mean old school bands, like Aerosmith, Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, these are all very famous bands that are still known and enjoyed today. What was your favorite subject at school? History. Always history. I love, 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 love history. If I wasn't in the like video production business, I would be doing something with history. I am nearly obsessed. Do you like fragrances? I do not wear perfume. What class did you hate at school? I did not like science. I'm more into like the arts, but yeah, not science really. History? Oh, so like which history do I like? It depends on my mood, um, but I'm interested in all history. Like one of my favorite things to do is to go on YouTube and look at videos from like the 1800s and just watch. I'm just fascinated. Um, I watch so many historical documentaries. I love learning about Tudor England, Tudor, like Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn. I love learning about the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette, just all world history I find fascinating. Do you know the history of Russia? Alexander asks. Not the full history, but I know a lot about the Bolshevik Revolution and Rasputin. Rasputin. Где ударение? I don't know. Is it Rasputin or Rasputin? In English, we say Rasputin. But yeah, I know a fair amount on that. Rasputin. Спасибо, Rasputin. Thank you. Yes, I have talked with Justin. Have you finished studying Russian in St. Petersburg? I only did that for like 1 week or 2 weeks in 2018. So yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. What do you think about Nicholas II and his family? I think that it's a very tragic story. It's heartbreaking what happened to them. Yes, Nicholas II made mistakes, but the way that they executed the entire family is horrifying. It's very, very, very sad. Is it common to have a car in New York City? No. Most people take the subway in New York City. This is a really good question. If you had, where did it go? It was asking me if I had a time machine, and I wanted to answer it. Okay, I saw the question, if you could go back in time, where would you go first? I would go back to Tudor England. Yeah. My dream would be to see Anne Boleyn. But Henry VIII broke away from the church in order to marry her. So he was so infatuated with her, so fascinated, interested in her. He loved her so much that he took this great, huge step in order to marry her. So my dream is to go back in time and just see how Anne Boleyn carries herself. Because if she's not very beautiful, for example, she must be very well-spoken. She must carry herself well. She must have an interesting personality. So my dream would be to see what she was like. History, I think it's very interesting, history in New York City and Moscow between 1900 and 1970, the Cold War. That is interesting. What is your favorite Russian dish? I love caviar. Bliny с икрой is delicious. Hello from the Kamchatka territory. Hello. Alexander, you say, tell us your favorite American anecdote. But my question is, what do you mean when you say anecdote? Because in Russian, anecdote is a joke. But in English, anecdote is a story. It's not a joke. So what do you mean? Is there any chance to practice English with you online, paid lessons? So right now I am not offering like Skype lessons, but I am in the process of making courses, which I'm going to announce soon, and I'm very excited about it. Goodbye, Roman. What is your favorite Trader Joe's product? That's a good question. My favorite Trader Joe's product is the guilt-free mac and cheese, macaroni and cheese. It's called guilt-free because it's a smaller quantity of it. What is your favorite museum in New York? Misha asks. So I grew up going to the American Museum of Natural History very often. So I say that that's my favorite museum because I know it the most. It's nostalgic for me. I just love it. And I recorded a video that's on my channel about having a sleepover at the Museum of Natural History, which is my favorite museum. So we got to sleep over there, which means we spent the entire night there and went to sleep on little cots, on little beds. So if you haven't watched that video, I recommend it. Why do you pronounce the T in often? In Google, it pronounces it without it. So sometimes it just depends. Like if I were speaking quickly with my friends, I wouldn't say the T. Not very often, but I'm trying to enunciate when I'm talking on this stream. So I'm saying often. And often is still correct. Some people say often. But in casual American speech, I think a lot of the times we just say often, right? Like often. How often? How often? I live in Russia and I can't have constant practice, Nikolai says. Are you able to watch YouTube every day? Because what I always say is if you're trying to learn English, but it's not very easy for you to find practice, just figure out a way to every day write something in English, listen to something in English, and talk in English, even if you're alone. So in learning Russian, I'll just sit there and just practice saying words when I'm home alone because you need to practice. So don't be embarrassed to just practice, even if you're talking to yourself. So I think that watching English language YouTube videos is helpful, just to keep your brain trained to understand English. Sergey asks, do you like the British accent? Can you say something with a British accent? Yeah, I can. Okay, let's see if you guys can understand what this is from. I'm doing it. Here we go. Has anyone seen a toad? A boy named Neville's lost one. Oh, are you doing magic? Let's see then. Are you sure that's a real spell? Well, it's not very good, is it? Of course, I've only tried a few simple ones myself, but they've all worked for me. For example, Oculus Reparo. That's better, isn't it? Holy cricket, you're Harry Potter. I'm Hermione Granger. And you are? Pleasure. You two better start changing into robes. I expect we'll be arriving soon. You've got dirt on your nose, by the way. Did you know? Just there. That's my party trick. Here's another one. Mandrake or mandragora is used to return those who've been petrified to their original state. It's also quite dangerous. The mandrake's cry is fatal to anyone who hears it. Yes, meeting Ron and Harry for the first time on the Hogwarts Express in the first Harry Potter movie. Yes, it's a fake British accent because I don't have a British accent. Is it easy to buy healthy organic food in New York? Yes, there are a lot of stores that offer that. If I will speak English alone, they will take me to the loony bin. Just be fearless, man. Just practice. Just practice. How can you advise on how to practice English during the day? Oh, during duty in Russian army. Sometimes what I think helps me is just repeating something you hear. So if you put on, for example, an English podcast, you can listen to a sentence and then just say it out loud. Just repeat it. Because then you can keep replaying it and you can keep practicing it and compare your accent and try to match the way that it sounds from the native speaker. If you know anyone else in the army or any of your friends who are learning English, you guys can just try and talk to each other in English. Even if you make mistakes because you're not native speakers, you're still practicing, and it's better than nothing. It's still training your mouth to form English words. I cannot go to a party with you tomorrow. Have you watched Chernobyl? Yes, it was amazing. Okay. Say something in Russian, please. Спасибо большое за просмотр. Я думаю, что это все, потому что уже 3 p.m. Так что спасибо всем. Let me know if you liked this live stream and I can do it again in the future, but I think I'm going to end the live stream now. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been fun, so thank you, and I will see you guys later.